What's bubbling, magical people? Welcome back to the Witching Hour with Miss Merlin, where we like to talk about all things witchy and magical. I'm your host, Kimmy, aka Miss Merlin, high priestess and shamaness, medicine woman, psychic medium, and witch extraordinaire. So let's jump on in. Today, I don't really know what to say about a topic. Because we're going to be covering a couple different things, actually. So right now, we are in the energy of the Lionsgate portal. All right, it was yesterday because today, as you're hearing this, it will be Saturday and it will be the 9th. But we're still in the energy of it, okay? It's open for a solid week around the energies, okay? And the Lionsgate is the annual astrological event that creates a powerful energetic gateway for spiritual growth, manifestation especially. So write that stuff down that you want to bring into your existence, okay? It occurs when the Earth lines up with the star Sirius, as well as the sun. So all of it aligns, and it amplifies it's also, sorry, tripping on my tongue here. It's amplified by the numerology because the number is 88, right? Because August 8th is when it happens. So this alignment is considered a really powerful time and the perfect time for setting intentions and for personal transformation, which is also happening at the same time as the full sturgeon moon in Aquarius. So the full moon in August is called the sturgeon moon because the Native American tribes and the Great Lakes regions observed the sturgeon were most plentiful and easiest to catch during this time of year. So it was named the sturgeon moon. Its spiritual representation, its themes of resilience, strength, transformation, it encourages self-reflection, the release of old emotions, and a deeper connection to ancestral wisdom. Now, excuse me. We also have a bunch of retrogrades going on too at the same time. So if things have been particularly messy for you recently, you know you're not alone in that, okay? The planets are doing this to us on purpose, okay? They are being particularly mean to us, but it is for a purpose. Now, Mercury's in retrograde, so it's also going to amplify all the things that are already in the energies for what's going on right now, okay? So the releasing of old things, old emotions, all those things coming into play. Mercury retrograde, though, is over. So thank goodness. Oh my gosh, thank goddess for that. Not quite yet. We have a couple more days, okay? So on the 11th. So as we know, Mercury's notorious for messing with technology, also communication, things get delayed, all of those things. The spiritual purpose of it is a cosmic pause. It's for inviting your introspection, for reassessment, realignment. It's considered a time to just slow down and revisit old ideas or relationships, good or bad, and reflect on what is truly serving you. Yeah, and this is where a lot of people get messed up, right? Because Mercury retrograde happens and your ex pops up or, something else pops up and it's a pattern. And the universe is giving you an opportunity to hello, see this for what it is. And, wish it well and move on. Or are we going to repeat the pattern? So, I see it all the time because I do readings, right? So I have the same bunch of people come back every Mercury retrograde to get a reading. And I tell them the same thing every time. But that's the way it goes, right? That is the way that it goes with Mercury retrograde. Okay, so, I usually tell people if you're, really thinking about an ex or feeling drawn to an ex, if it's Mercury retrograde, don't act upon that. Wait until after. And then if it's still happening, then maybe it's something to visit at that time. But during Mercury retrograde, I wouldn't recommend getting back together with people from the past, things like that. It's also not recommended to sign contracts because there's tech issues, communication issues, delays, all those kinds of things. Don't buy anything big like your house or a car or anything like that during Mercury retrograde. And I can attest to that myself because I bought a car during the pre-shadow period of Mercury retrograde 2 years ago, and that car only lasted a year before it mysteriously blew up for some reason. Like, what the hell happened? Like, this should not have happened with this car. But anyways, I digress. So don't do things like that, okay? Wait until it's over. This is a period of pause, okay? That could be a lesson for you too. Patience, okay? Consider that time to slow down, okay? Also revisiting old ideas too. What is working for me? You know, what were my goals too? What were my goals 6 months ago even? Are they still the same things that I see for myself now? Or have I evolved a bit? What do I want to bring into my life? So really reflect on that. And especially during this time right now, this portal, because it is so powerful, the power of the pen, my babes. Write it down. Okay, please, please, please write that stuff down that you want to get rid of in your life too. You know, if you're like, I don't want to struggle financially anymore. Okay, that's one I'm sure everyone can relate to. So I'm giving you that one. Okay, write it down and set it on fire outside. Give it to the universe. If you're not somewhere where you can safely do that, okay, then you don't have to set it on fire. That's fine. You can also like pour water on it too, okay? That's another thing. Or just, you know, write it down. Make a manifestation journal. However you want to do it. Magic is always intuitive, okay? Whatever you're guided to do, whatever you're guided to use, all right? There's no like rule book of you have to use this certain herb and this certain this and there's certain that and it has to be on this day. No, it's all intuitive. That's when you get your best results anyway. So back to the retrogrades. Currently, we're still in Saturn retrograde until November 28th. All right, so this retrograde season is coming to an end. This has been a pretty transformational 6 months, all right, for a lot of people. For those people who chose to kind of step up and go through transformative things and changes and acknowledge things and shadows and you know, acknowledge certain truths. And there'll be a lot of people that chose not to, and that's okay too, all right? So you might notice yourself too starting to distance slowly from, you know, people and connections in your lives. And like I was talking about, your goals as well. Your ideas might change. Your mind might change. Your mindset might change. Where you wanted to go 6 months ago may not be the same direction you want to go now. Or it might be, you just might want to tweak it a little bit. My phone's at 44% battery as I'm saying that, okay? Very, very significant there. So look that up, okay? We always look up those numbers that fall in succession and jump out at us, right? That's one thing I always tell you. All right, so the purpose of Saturn retrograde, it encourages us to look at our long-term goals, responsibilities, our personal authority. It's a period for reflection, reevaluation, restructuring the foundations that we've built. So just like I was saying, what were we wanting to do 6 months ago? Is that still the same direction we want to go in? Do we want to tweak it? Do we want to go somewhere completely new? All those things are okay. And this is what this period has been showing to us, okay? It's been illuminating for us here. We are also in Neptune retrograde until December 10th. This is causing a period of introspection, confronting illusions. It encourages us to focus on reality, self-awareness, and spiritual growth, often leading to reevaluation of your dreams, beliefs, and maybe possibly relationships. So with Neptune and Saturn at the same time, And there's more. There's more. Okay. Don't get disheartened here. I know this sounds like a lot and it sounds heavy, but you know what? You've moved through a lot of it already. Okay. We're coming to the end of it, the tail end of it here. So if this has been a period for you where it's been particularly like, what is going on, you know, or particularly heavy, or there's been a lot of things coming up, just move through those emotions, you know, especially right now with the full moon. Full moon always gives us that chance for emotional release. All right. I know I had a really big cry yesterday. I got very, very triggered with something, and I was like weeping for a solid 20 minutes. I was like, what is happening here? But then I put it together. So I'll tell you just really quickly. I love my animals. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, you will have been familiar with my Aisha. She was one of my dogs. I had 2 dogs and my cat, and I have an axolotl. Anyways, Aisha I had to put down, and it's been almost 2 years. The anniversary is coming up, and I didn't even put that together. And I haven't been back inside the vet office since the day that I went in to pick up her ashes. And I had to take my other dog, Chloe, there yesterday for just routine stuff. And just going in the building, like I said, I had an emotional breakdown with the vet and the poor tech. But they were lovely. They were so lovely. Shout out to them, Mariposa Vet Hospital in Aurelia. They are just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But they said to me, like, this is the safest place you can be, you know, to have a breakdown. That we get it, you know. But then when I got home, I just released more. And I think it's because I'd been holding on to that, and I hadn't allowed myself a moment to, I guess, really release that or focus on it. I think maybe I was just trying to hide from it. I was still just thinking she was just going to show back up. You know how we gaslight ourselves like that as humans? Yeah. So all of these things coming up for us. And I know I've been talking to a couple friends of mine too, and they've been experiencing big emotional releases too, with other stuff going on in their lives. I know a lot of people's deep wounds are getting poked right now. And that 1, 2, 3, 4 on my timers, I said that. Okay. So yeah, we're moving forward. We're learning and moving past things. Okay, letting go. I was trying to say letting go and learning at the same time, and it came out as a... Sorry about that. And I'm still struggling with my voice, and that I apologize. I actually am not getting sick as I thought I was last week. I clued in after the fact that the air quality's been terrible because we've had forest fires. So that's what was happening. I've got symptoms from that. So that is what's happening there. And yeah, climate change isn't happening, right? Okay. We have like seasons now that are not the seasons that they were before. We have spring and fire season. There's no more summer. It's just that. And it's terrible. Like, if you see the stuff that's going on in California right now, awful. My heart absolutely goes out to them. Like, sending the best energy that I can your way. Hopefully maybe talking about Neptune. Maybe we can manifest some water, some rain, something, okay? So guys, we also have Pluto. All right. So this is coming to an end on October 14th. So we're getting close to this one too, okay? So Pluto retrograde, spiritual purpose is to encourage deep introspection again. So getting hit with this. And transformation. Forcing a confrontation of hidden fears and subconscious patterns. Also, subconscious pain, like I was talking about there with the release that I had. So this period prompts you to let go of any outdated beliefs, heal old wounds, and reclaim your personal power to emerge with more authenticity. All right. And I've been seeing this with like a lot of my friends too, have been like, just been like, I don't give a fuck anymore, you know, I don't care, you know. And some influencers I know too have been talking about this. Like, when I do these certain type of videos that I really enjoy making, they don't get pushed out to an audience. And I feel like, man, should I not be doing that? But this is part of who I am. This is part of what I like, right? But it's like, screw it. I'm just going to do it anyway because this is for me, right? And I'm seeing a lot of people doing that right now. And I love it. I love it. I'm here for it. All this like shedding of old things. I'm like, this is for me. I'm going to live my life for me. Okay. I have a gate up and the door closed right now because my dog, her feet on the floor, click, 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 throughout the whole video would be very, very treacherous for anyone who is neurodivergent, I know. So I have that up right now, but I know my cat's trying to get in. I can hear her. So the message of the black cat is about that, the setting of boundaries, right? Cats love love like everyone else, but they put themselves first, right? So, yeah, the message of the black cat. So, guys, we also have Chiron, which is the energy of the wounded healer. And that retrograde is coming to an end January 2nd, 2026. Okay, so the end of the year is bringing an end to retrograde season. Then we will have a few months of pause, okay? Plus, a lot of us have done very extensive and intensive work during this time right now. That's what I'm saying. Don't get disheartened by all these retrogrades I'm telling you about that are still happening, okay? Because, like, are you paying attention to the dates? We're almost to the end of it, okay? We really, really are. And all the stuff is starting to, I just feel the energy starting to lighten. So I feel like everybody's been kind of pushed through the worst of it, right? People made a choice, either consciously or subconsciously, to level up or not. And those who chose to level up have really been pushed through it. So if that's you, 1, 2, 3, as I'm saying this, 123. Yeah, if that's you, wow. I applaud you guys. I really do. I want you to look up that number too, 1, 2, 3. Okay, but we have a lot of that coming too. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so moving up. I'm talking about leveling up. Okay, and I feel like what that is saying with the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4 is like not just one level. Okay, I feel like a lot of you are leveling up a few. Okay, because you've been really, really pushing through and releasing and dealing with a lot of these things. Now, I also want to bring up the fact that you could have some funky stuff going on in your physical body. Because when we are releasing these traumas and these things from our existence, it's, you know, sometimes that energy is stored in our body for so long, it can come out in some form of dis-ease, right? Which translates to disease. Okay. Now, not saying it's going to be like something like terrible, 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 right? But you might be noticing certain things, right? Like I'm really struggling with the forest fire smoke and being very susceptible to those symptoms. Normally, I wouldn't be because I'm in pretty good shape. And yeah, my lungs are usually in pretty good shape. So my immunity to it wouldn't have been as low, right? I shouldn't be affected as much as I am. So there's certain things going on there. I know I've been struggling with headaches a lot recently too, which I don't get a lot. So I know there's a lot of things releasing that way. That's how trauma energy comes out. You know, I've talked about this before. People who struggle with a lot of childhood trauma, you might have a lot of digestive issues going on in your body. Gallbladder. Yeah, that's one. Anything like anxious stomach, that kind of thing. Anything like that. It can all be related to that. So just pay attention to what your body is telling you. Slow down. Just relax. Spend as much time outside grounding as you can because there's a lot of energy whirling around right now. Okay? So if you're sensitive to energy, you're going to be wanting to do a lot of grounding right now. Okay? Especially. We are going through a massive like death and rebirth thing collectively. And that's basically the topic of like where we're going to go next with this. Because I'm going to take you through the different deities in charge of the underworld, tell you a little bit about them. And we're going to get a message too from them as well. Excuse me. So, yeah, so we're kind of supposed to take a pause right now and revisit and just kind of listen to those inner voices, listen to that inner reflection. And really, as I was saying, like, I feel like a lot of you have come through the worst of it. So take this time to just let yourself recover. All right. That could be another reason why your body is a little more susceptible to things right now that normally you maybe wouldn't be. All right. Because you've been releasing a lot of stuff energetically and emotionally and dealing with a lot of that stuff. So that's going to wear you down too, right? Just like if you were running a marathon. All right. So this right now, I feel like is that recovery time as we're coming out of the end of Mercury retrograde, and then we're coming to the end of Pluto retrograde coming soon, right? So a couple of these coming to an end. So we're coming to an end of that. Just allow ourselves to just recover. So just like if you had to run up a hill, right? You have already crested the top of it. So you just like let yourself take some breaths and walk slow on your way down. Okay? All right. So now, as I mentioned, going through collectively a death of things. And we're seeing this playing out on the world stage, right? There are certain things coming to light that can't be hid in the shadows anymore. The tactics of the people trying to keep things in the shadows aren't working. So apply that to however you want to apply it, right? It's all the way up. Okay. Okay, so with the government, but with also like people in your life as well. People in your life that might have been toxic or, you know, trying to hide certain things, wear certain masks. All right. All of that is slipping. People can't hold this up anymore. All right. They can't fake it anymore either. That's another thing I just heard too. Right? So if someone is not vibing with you anymore, but they were just kind of like hanging on for a different reason, they're not going to be able to like hold their disdain. That's what I just heard. All right. So that's why there's going to be certain things that are going to fall off. All right. And just let that be. Okay. Just let that be. It's just for healing. It's for everybody's highest good. It's from choices that everybody has personally made. So we just need to honor that. Right. But like I'm saying, it is reflecting on the world stage. Now, I'm going to say, and I'm going to make a prediction right now, and I'm telling you that the empire in the United States, that regime, is going to fall. It's already in the process. The lies aren't working anymore. The gaslighting tactics aren't working. The distractions aren't working. You know, things can't be hidden anymore. I also just want to say, from my own personal medical opinion, because I don't have this listed, but before I went into the more holistic side of medicine and healing and really diving into my psychic gifts and stuff, I actually was in nursing, guys. So I did spend some time in that arena, okay, in regular healthcare. And two things I'm seeing with Donald Trump. Because I did spend some time in the mental health ward or the psych ward, okay? And also on geriatric floors, okay? I spent time in other realms as well, but I do have experience in those two areas. And the two things that I am noticing with him is either sundowning, and that's dementia, and that's accelerated. So like something needs to happen, someone needs to intervene now, right? So that's happening. So a doctor is either going to have to get a conscience here because they already have to know that. All right, so that is one thing that I am seeing a lot of similarities with a lot of patients that I worked with on those geriatric floors. The other thing that I did think is syphilis. And syphilis, if left undiagnosed and untreated for years, it causes mental breakdown like we're seeing, just like dementia affects. And it just gets worse and it gets violent. And we're already seeing that. It also, left untreated and undiagnosed, causes major cardiovascular issues and pulmonary issues and circulation issues. And President Kankles is displaying a lot of signs of this. So, whether, people actually do the right thing and rise up in positions they're supposed to, and things get righted in that way, I predict that happening, or if nature takes its course in a different way. But either way, that is falling, okay? The stuff that is hidden in the dark is now coming to light. It can't be hidden anymore. The lies are not sticking anymore with everything. Okay, with everything in life, people cannot keep their masks up anymore. People are seeing through stuff, right? You're seeing through companies. You're seeing people's true colors, right? By which side they're on. And it is a side. I hate to say that because, it didn't used to be. And we used to be able to have differing political opinions, but this is not political anymore. Right? At this point, if you still support that man, you're on the side of evil. There's nothing more to it. You're in a dangerous cult and you're on the side of evil. I don't feel bad for saying it. Okay? And you're showing your true colors because you support racism. You support fascism. You support all the nasty, awful stuff that is happening right now. And that is who you are as a human. And it's being displayed. It's being illuminated. Okay? And that's why I'm talking about it. This is what's happening on the world stage. Things are being illuminated. Right? Somebody's going to have to take over because while all this stuff is happening right now, and we've already established, I talked about this a couple readings ago, if you look at the world as a chakra system, where the states is like the solar plexus, where the ego is, okay? So there's an ego death happening there, okay? And this is what we're seeing. And another thing we're going to see is, and I'm not saying all Americans, please don't take it that way, okay? But there are a lot in the country that are very self-absorbed. You don't know what's going on outside the country. You're not taught it. It's not given to you because you're force-fed. We're the best. We're number one. We're leaders of the free world. You're not. And that truth is going to be shown. And that's going to be illuminated too. Because while all this nonsense is happening with all this stuff that he's doing right now, all the distractions and the Epstein and the this and the that, and the raising of the tariffs, what he's not paying attention to, and what everyone else in the country is not really paying attention to, is the fact that the rest of the world is moving on without you. Like, there's deals that are being made. There's infrastructure that's being changed, to accommodate different trade in different areas to kind of nix them out. Really, because the only way to deal with a bully like that is to take his money away. So that's happening. And the thing is a lot of people are not noticing that is happening. right? And that's what this is all about. That ego death is happening, right? And it's happening. We're seeing it as it sits on the world map of where the chakras are. Okay, so that's just how I'm seeing it play out. Anyways, that's my prediction. I also have to make one more comment on this. Dean Cain, I think you're a disgusting individual. Recruiting people for ICE. You give Superman a bad name. Christopher Reeves is very upset at the fact that you are destroying his legacy with your hatred. And yeah, I'm a medium and I feel confident in 100% saying that he told me that directly. So I'm passing that on. Okay. And also, Dean Cain, who is that? Because your name's Dean Tanaka. But you're trying to hide that. Right? Disgraceful. Disgraceful. Anyways, I just had to say that. But there's deep ancestral trauma, deep wounds that are being pulled to the surface right now collectively for everyone. So if you're experiencing a lot of things, and also there's a lot going on in the world, it's meant to be that way because we are not going to be able to ignore things anymore. You know, just like a lot of places want to suppress certain media so the truth about certain things doesn't get out, but it is anyway. You can't hide things anymore. The truth is getting out. People are waking up. That's just the way it is. There's no way to stop it now. So I just feel like the worst is over. Okay, so if you've been kind of maybe feeling a little depressed or, you know, just down or everything's kind of getting to you, just know, like, we're at a turning point here. This is what I'm seeing. We are at a complete turning point here. And when I was trying to figure out what I was going to talk about today, inspiration for what we should talk about this week, I kept seeing Isis and Osiris. And Isis and Osiris were separated because he was killed. So he was in the underworld and she was here. So that separation of that masculine and feminine energy, the healthy masculine and feminine energy. And I saw them, the energies of them coming together into this like beautiful spinning purple yin yang, you know? And that's just not about like a man and a woman coming together, right? That's that masculine and feminine energy, the healthy masculine and feminine balanced energy, okay? So that coming together, spinning like that was like a signal for me that this is coming back into balance, okay? So all the stuff that is false, all the stuff that is fraudulent, all the stuff that is fake is going to be exposed. There's no stopping it now. No stopping it now at all. And I think it's awesome. I'm here for it. Like, yay. And like I said, I feel like we're through the worst of it. So now we can just kind of like relax, take a breath, and just kind of watch things play out. All right? Set your intentions too. Don't forget to do that. Okay? Very, very powerful time. Write down what you want. Even just make a little bullet point list. Vision boards. Very powerful too. Super powerful. Utilize all of those tools. Okay? Power of the pen. So powerful. Okay? You have a chance to write history. This is the most powerful manifestation time of the year right now. Utilize it. Okay? Don't let it pass you by. So, we're going to go into, since there is like a collective like death and rebirth energy going on, I was drawn to the deities from the different pantheons and getting a message from them and having that energy collectively kind of coming and balancing out, right? So it was a really lovely energy as I was kind of channeling this for you guys today. So we're going to start with Hades and Persephone. So that, of course, is Greek mythology. So Hades and his wife Persephone rule the underworld, the realm of the dead. After abducting Persephone, Hades made her queen of the underworld. And in her grief, Persephone's mother, Demeter, caused a great famine. Zeus intervened and made a deal. Persephone would be free to return to her mother, but because she ate pomegranate seeds while in the underworld, so this is what happens. The rule is, if you are in the underworld in Greek mythology, if you eat anything in there, you have to stay. Okay? That's the rule. So since she ate the pomegranate seeds while she was in the underworld, she must spend a portion of the year there. So her return to the surface each year brings spring and summer, while her absence causes her mother Demeter's grief, bringing the cold and barrenness of fallen winter. But I prefer the chaos interpretation. If you guys have seen Chaos on Netflix, I think it was great. I'm still really pissed that they canceled it. Way better than a lot of the other stupid shows they have on there. But anyways, I digress. In the chaos interpretation, Persephone chose where she wanted to be. Okay, and that is the energy that I get from her. Anytime that I've ever connected with her, like, she made a choice of where she wants to be. Okay, nobody stole her, nobody abducted her. Okay, she is a woman in charge of herself, and she does what she wants to do. All right, so we're getting those energies. But anyways, I'm just familiarizing you guys with the stories. So Roman, basically the same story, just the names are changed. So we have Pluto and his wife. So Pluto is, of course, Hades. His wife, Proserpina, which is Persephone. And they preside over the underworld and its riches. Pluto's the god there. He kidnaps her while she was picking flowers, made her his queen. And her mother, Ceres, goddess of agriculture, same story. But it was Jupiter who intervened, Jupiter, Zeus, and a deal was made. Okay, so same story, different names. Okay, because Greek and Roman, very, very interchangeable. Then we have Norse. So we have Hel, who governs the very cold and gloomy realm of Helheim, where those who die of sickness and old age go. So in Norse mythology, the afterlife has several destinations. Those who die in battle are chosen by either Odin or Freya, and Freya getting the first pick of half of the slain for her hall, Folkvangir, and Odin receiving the other half for Valhalla. Most famously known, that's the one you probably heard of. The rest of the dead who die from sickness or old age typically go to that underworld realm of Helheim. So Hel is the daughter of Loki and the giantess Agraboda. Odin cast her into the underworld, giving her authority over the realm of the same name. She's described as having a half beautiful and half corpse-like appearance, and Odin cast her to the underworld due to a prophecy that foretold great danger from Loki's children. He feared that Hel and her brothers, the wolf Fenrir and the serpent Jormungandr, would threaten him. So he sent each of them to a place where they couldn't harm him. And then we have the organized nonsense, which tells us that bad humans who don't follow the rules in a stupid book go to eternal punishment and damnation, ruled over by Satan, Lucifer, the devil, whatever nonsense you've been told, stolen, or repackaged from other traditions that came before it. Other words in other traditions you may have heard before is Sheol and Tartarus. So, yeah, I just want to mention that Christian hell, Catholic hell, stole that right from Norse mythology. That's Helheim. Most of the stuff in the Bible is stolen, repackaged, mostly Norse and Greek mythology, if you read it and study it. Just so you know. All right, Egyptian. Osiris, murdered by his brother Set, became the ruler and judge of the afterlife. Osiris, a major god in the ancient Egyptian pantheon, rules over the underworld, and he's associated with fertility, agriculture, and resurrection. According to the myth, his jealous brother Set murdered him, but his wife, the goddess Isis, resurrected him long enough to conceive their son Horus. Osiris then became the ruler and judge of the dead. Okay, Moving on to the Celtic pantheon. So we have Arun, who is the king of the Annwn, which is a mystical underworld realm in the, hold on, make sure I'm going to say this properly. Mabinogion. Yeah, Magaobion. Yeah, the collection of Welsh tales. So he's a powerful figure known for his fairness and magical abilities, including shapeshifting. He's often depicted as the paradise of eternal youth and abundance. He's also associated with the quote-unquote wild hunt, which is a ghostly procession of supernatural hounds, the Cum Annwn, and it is led to collect the souls of the dead. So this like giant procession of like ghost dogs. Pretty freaky, but I like it. It's cool. And then we have Hindu. So the Hindu underworld, known as Naraka, is the realm where sinners are punished after death. So Yama, also known as Jama, is the first mortal to die and the god of death and justice who presides over Naraka. He judges the souls of the dead based on their deeds and assigns them to either Naraka, a temporary hell, or to be reborn. So they have the temporary hell where they can like do stuff or go through certain trials and stuff so they can be reborn. Yeah. And then we have Chinese. So this is, their underworld is called Diyu, where the dead are judged and punished by the 10 kings. In Chinese mythology, Diyu is the underworld where the dead are judged by the 10 kings of hell. The soul travels through the series of courts, each ruled by a different king, who examines the person's deeds in life. The judgment process, which can take up to 3 years, determines a soul's punishment and its next reincarnation. The 10th and final king oversees the wheel of transmigration, sending the soul to a new existence as a god, a human, or an animal, based on their karma. Then we have Japanese. So the Japanese underworld is called Yomi, a gloomy place where all dead go, regardless of their deeds. The goddess Izanami no Mikito became its ruler after her death. However, later Buddhist traditions introduced a different concept where a hell-like is called Igoko, ruled by the Japanese Buddhist king Enma, who judges souls and oversees punishments based on their actions in life, deciding if their punishments are for their next rebirth, if they, prevent that or not. His origins can be traced to the Hindu god of death, Yama, and he's often depicted as fearsome, a red-faced figure wearing ancient robes of ancient Chinese official. And we have Aztec. The Aztec deity, Mictlantecuhtli, these ones are hard to say, and his wife rule Mictlantecuhtli, which is their underworld. It's the lowest of the 9 layers of their underworld. So the Aztec underworld has a 9-level journey to the land of the dead. Souls must overcome challenges to reach their final resting place. And then we have the Mayan. So Apuch is a god of death, darkness, and disaster. The Mayan underworld is known as Xibalba, or the place of fright, and it's a treacherous realm ruled by the Maya death gods. In the Popol Vuh, the Kichi Maya mythical book of counsel, the rulers of Xibalba are Xibaba, which means 1 death, and Vu-Kakam, which means 7 deaths. Apuk, whose name translates to the stinking one or the flatulent one, ew, is a significant Mayan death deity. While the Popol Vuh names the others as the primary rulers, Apuk is often considered a prominent god of death, darkness, and disaster, and in some traditions, the ruler of Mitna, the lowest and most feared level of the underworld. Aput's terrifying appearance is a reflection of his domain. He's often depicted as a skeletal figure with protruding ribs and a skull-like head, or a bloated corpse in a state of decomp. He's often shown with bells, which he would ring as he would stalk the sick or the injured, waiting for them to die. Very morbid. This is why the Mayans would make a lot of noise at night or during times of mourning to scare him away. Interestingly enough, Aput isn't solely a god of death. In some traditions, he's also associated with regeneration and childbirth, representing the cyclical nature of life and death in Mayan cosmology. He's the opposite of the upper gods and is closely linked to war, disease, and human sacrifice most of the time. Mesopotamian. Arishkuga rules the gloomy underworld, a place of which no one can return. The Mesopotamian underworld, also known as Irkal Allah, was a dark, dreary cavern deep beneath the earth. It was a land of no return, where the dead lived a shadowy version of life on earth. The goddess Arishkagal ruled the underworld. She was the older sister of the goddess Inanna and was seen as a fierce but fair judge of the dead. Inanna is also compared to the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Both goddesses are of love, beauty, sexuality, and war, and they share a lot of similar myths. And a lot of people see them kind of as interchangeable. Inca. Supai, the god of the underworld and death, often associated with negative concepts. The Incan underworld, known as Ukupatika, is not necessarily a place of punishment. It was seen as a domain associated with the earth's interior, the ancestors, and a new life. Supai was not always malevolent. He was considered a powerful but sometimes ambivalent spirit. Feared and respected, the Inca people would offer him sacrifices to ensure their safety and the well-being of their deceased loved ones. So then we have some Native American traditions. So Hopi. Mahasoya is the god of death, fire, and earth. Hopi cosmology, sorry. Oh, this is not makeup. Includes the three realms, the upper world, the lower world, and our current world. The Hopi believe that they emerge from a series of lower worlds into the current one, and that the dead return to the underworld. So the spirit of death and the earth god is a guardian of the underworld and ensures the safe return of the deceased. And the Inuit have Sanna, who rules the underworld and the sea, punishing those who break taboos. The Inuit underworld is a frozen, desolate land called Adlivun, located beneath the sea. So Sanna, the sea goddess, controls all marine animals and the souls of the dead. Many Native American traditions conceive of the cosmos in three layers: the upper world, the middle world, and the underworld. The underworld is often a watery realm associated with creation and the dead. The Iroquois tradition describes the three-tiered cosmos. The underworld is a realm of chaos, evil, cold, and darkness created by an evil twin brother. This contrasts with the sky world, which represents order, goodness, and light. The earth exists between these two realms. The souls of the dead are sometimes thought to remain on earth as ghosts, which the living must appease with feast to prevent them from causing any harm. And then we have the Navajo. And in the Navajo tradition, the underworld is considered a dark, watery place of creation where people emerge into the current world. This concept is a key part of their origin stories. Then we have Algonquin. This also features a three-tiered universe. The underworld is a watery abode ruled by powerful beings such as the Great Horned Spirit or the Underwater Panther. Shamans, or the souls of the dead, can travel between these realms. Then we have Pueblo. In other Pueblo traditions, like Zuni, share the belief of emergence from multiple underworlds. Their dead go into a great village where they live happy lives, and their spirits can occasionally return to the living world as protective and helpful beings or as nature spirits. So the reason why we're talking about all the realms of the underworld is because what I've been shown from these deities is that this is all being pushed up to the surface. So we're seeing it on the world stage and in our own lives right now, right? However it's reflecting to you, okay? We're seeing all of this darkness being pushed up to the surface. And it's been happening for a while. And we are at like that crescendo point. That is what I'm feeling, all right? And all that light is shining in now, and all of these shadows and all of this darkness cannot hide anymore. Just like when you turn the light on in a room, it hits the corner last, but it still hits it, right? So it's gonna happen. It's inevitable. So all of them together was a whole lot of voices in my head. So I asked them to kind of break it down and just channel a message for me from all of them. All right. So this is what they had to say. You have all the information that you need. Complete the tasks that are before you. Wrap up any loose ends. This message is a unified yet multifaceted decree. It's a paradox. This is a whisper that shakes the cosmos, a silence that screams of truths long forgotten and long hidden. Mortals, you stand at a crossroads not of your own making, yet a path you alone must choose. The threads of fate are woven not by the gods or goddesses, but by the smallest of your actions, the quietest of your thoughts. The dead remember what the living have forgotten, that every ending is also a beginning, and every shadow cast holds the potential for light. Embrace the darkness within, for it's not your enemy, but a teacher. Acknowledge your fear, for it is a compass. The underworlds are not your final destination, but a mirror reflecting the echoes of your life. The only true currency is the integrity of your soul. Do not seek our favor or the praise of men, but the peace of your own conscience. Your time is fleeting, yet your impact is eternal. Go now and live as if we are all watching, for we are. And the dead are waiting, because they are. Your legacy is not what you leave behind, but who you have become. Now, I just want to say, when I said your time is fleeting, it's just because, like, we're humans, you know? The clock is always ticking for us, right? I'm not with all this, like, death and underworld and stuff. It's like a metaphorical death, okay? We're seeing a death to the old cycle, a death to the old way, a death to the darkness, okay? But it has its place, so it's not, you know? Things are coming back into balance, okay? But I'm not like giving you a premonition that you need to be afraid or be on guard or anything like that. That is not what I'm saying at all. I just want to clarify that 100% right now. Okay? So, that is what I'm seeing happening here. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of all of what's kind of been going on as I was channeling what to talk about this week. So I hope you enjoyed it, guys. If you want to follow my social media, I will link everything below. My link tree will be below. If you want to book any services with me, you can do that too. I also would love it if you would email me and let me know what you would like to hear. If there's a certain thing you want to hear me talk about, you know, a pantheon I haven't talked about. If you like it when I do the readings, I want to know that. Okay, give me some feedback. Let me know. Let me know what you don't like. Let me know what you do like. Okay, so I can make it better for you guys, because that's what I want to do. All right, so I will leave that below as well, but you can always get me on my social media DMs, or like I said, you can email me at angelic.alchemy11@gmail.com, but I will, again, link it below for you. Remember, everything that's been going on has been happening for a reason. That's why things, you know, everything always gets darkest before the dawn, right? So yeah, I just wanted to bring you this message. I hope it lifts you up. Remember, you always make your own magic. Just like the deities were saying, we weave our own threads. All right, make sure you do that. Make sure you write those things down. Write your intentions down. Write down what you want. If you want bougie things, write that down too. Don't feel guilty for that. All right? Allow yourselves those pleasures, okay? Guilty pleasure, that's not a thing. It's just a pleasure, and you're allowed to have it without guilt. All right? Okay, guys, again, everything will be linked below. Until I see you again, stay magical. Love you so much.